Hello everyone, I am QCE and today I am demonstrating the heat flows experiment based on the DSKP for Year 5 science. This activity aligns with Learning Standard 6.1.4 describing changes in water temperature when hot water cools to room temperature and 6.1.7 explaining observation critically through writing sketches of ICT. So practical activities like this are crucial in primary school science because they provide hands-on experiences that go beyond memorizing facts and they help pupils to develop scientific skills such as observing, measuring, and analyzing data. So this fostering critical thinking and a love for science. So in planning these activities, managing the science room or laboratory is key, ensuring a safe, organized space to prevent accidents and allows focus on learning. For example, checking apparatus for damage and arranging the setups stably connects directly to safe handling, making the activity effective and ethical. So today I will guide you all through planning, conducting and analyzing this experiment. So we will emphasize safe and ethical handling of materials and apparatus. So our today experiment title is heat flows. This experiment aims to describe the changes in the temperature of hot water when it is cooled to the room temperature. Hypothesis for this experiment is the longer the time, the lower the water temperature decreases until it stabilizes, reaching the thermal equilibrium with the room. So for the variables, which is manipulated variable, is time, and responding variable is temperature of the water, which is hot water, and lastly constant variable is volume of water. So we will use 200 of milliliter of hot water. So materials of this experiment is 200 of milliliter hot water. We have a thermometer, we have a stopwatch, we have a tripod stand, we have a wire gas, we have a test tube holder, and a safety goggles. This is added for eye protection. Now before we begin, let's discuss safety precaution and ethical handling. These are essential for scientific skill in primary school. Safety first. In any science activity, we must handle materials and apparatus safely and ethically to protect ourselves and others. Here's how. So first, wear protective gear. Always put on a safety goggles before starting. So goggles shield our eyes from splashes of hot water. Second, not eating, drinking, or running in laboratories because laboratories other kitchens. Avoid food to prevent contamination and stay calm and walk to reduce accident risk. Third, handle hot items carefully. So use the test tube holder to grip a beaker if it's hot. Never touch the hot surfaces directly if it contains the hot water. Alright. Fourth, stable setup. Make sure all equipment is stable on the retort stand, which is stable, before starting the experiment. For instance, the cramp items securely to prevent tipping. Importantly, the tripod stand cannot be put on the retort stand. This could cause instability and accidents. Instead, put on the tripod stand on the flat surface, which is on our table. 5. The fifth, thermometer handling. Ensure the thermometer does not touch the bottom of the beaker to avoid incorrect readings like this one. So if it touches the bottom, it might measure the beaker's heat instead of the water's heat. So and don't forget clamp it so hands might wear in the liquid. Alright, so the sixth is ethical consideration. So use only the needed amount of water to avoid the waste, such as 200 ml is sufficient. So after the experiment, we must pour the water into our sink. Responsibility. So now I will teach you all about general apparatus use. So beaker is for holding liquids. So later we need to pour slowly the hot water into it to avoid spills. Later the thermometer, we need to read at the eye level for accuracy. And the stopwatch, we start or stop precisely for timing. And the wire gas distribute heat evenly if heating, but here it's just support our beaker stably. So teacher could prepare the hot water for students, so I will prepare the hot water for the student. Lastly, remember to tie our hair if you've got a long hair. And teachers need to teach this to pupils before any activity, so pupils can practice them to build good habits. If something goes wrong, stop and inform an adult. Now let us set up for this experiment. Before that, always remember put the temperature on the flat surface and never put the temperature. Always remember that put the thermometer on a flat surface and don't put the thermometer nearer by the side of our table, so it will not fall on the floor. So please remember that. So now first put our cupid stand on a stable surface. Remember, it cannot be put on the wristwatch stand for safety. Now put the wire gas on top the tripod stand. Then a beaker on the gas. Now we need to clamp the thermometer to the retort stand so it dips into the beaker without touching the bottom. So we need to remember that the thermometer need to have a gap from our beaker. This ensures our accurate readings. Alright, now we need to clamp. So when we clamp it, please don't forget that we need to clamp it tightly so that the thermometer will not fall into our beaker. And our thermometer, make sure that do not touching any beaker. Alright, so we set up our apparatus like this. And make sure that the scale of the thermometer is faced to our eyes so that we can read the measurement readings. Make sure all equipment is stable on the wristwatch stand. So we need to try it out. It's stable or not? Alright, it's stable already. So now I will pour the 200 ml of hot water into the beaker. So while pouring the hot water, we need to remember that we need to bring our eyes to the same level. Alright, to the same level as the water's meniscus, which is the curved surface of the liquid. So always take the reading from the lowest point of the meniscus, but not from the top. Alright. So remember the measurement, the reading measurement of the beaker need to face to our face. So now we need to use our goggles to shield our eyes from splashing of the hot water. So we need to bend our body so that our eyes can align, which is perpendicular to the line of beaker. Now we can pour the hot water gently into beaker. We pour slowly, a little bit with a little bit. So make sure our eyes is perpendicular at the line. Now we will start the stopwatch and immediately measure the initial temperature. So record it in our table. Now we need to start our stopwatch immediately to measure the initial temperature. So record it in our table. So, and do not stop the stopwatch, let it run continuously while taking readings every 5 minutes. So now the initial of the hot water is 56 degrees Celsius. So at each 5 minutes interval, which is 5, 10, 15 and so on, carefully read the thermometer and record the temperature. When reading the thermometer, please remember that keep our eyes at the same level as the mercury or alcohol current, which is we need to make sure our eyes is perpendicular to the level mercury or alcohol. So please remember that reading from above or below will cause us the parallax error and making the value appear higher or lower than it really is. In this progress, don't touch anything such as the thermometer and beaker. So now it's going past 1 minute already. So let us wait for the results. So when we observe the thermometer, make sure that our eyes always same level with the alcohol. And don't forget always focus on our stopwatch. So make sure that we can accurately record our result every 5 minutes. So we don't disturb our stopwatch until the stopwatch. So we don't disturb our stopwatch until the result becomes constant. So how to read this stopwatch, which is the outer circle is for the seconds and the inner circles, which is the inner round, is for the minutes. So if our minutes hands point to 5, it means that the time already reaches the 5 minutes. So now we wet our second hand to point to 60. So this will show that this stopwatch show the accurate times. So let us wet. So now we already reached the 5 minutes. So we read the measurement of thermometer. Alright. So don't forget our ice is same level with the mercury or the alcohol inside the scale. Okay. So now the temperature is decreases to 51 degrees Celsius. So we know that the temperature is decreasing right now. It already decreased 5 degrees Celsius. Alright, let us wait another 5 minutes and so on. So in the progress of waiting our result, we don't touch anything such as the thermometer and the beaker. This is because if we touch the thermometer, it will affect our temperature readings. And if we touch the beaker, you can feel pain if you touch it because the beaker still feel hot. So let us wait the time pass. So we wait for another one round for the second hand pass. So it could reach us the 10 minutes. So now we reach the 10 minutes. So we need to read our thermometer measurements. Alright, so don't forget the ice always perpendicular to the mercury level. Alright, so now we saw that the reading is 46. We cannot take the 47 because in it the mercury or the alcohol already decreases. So we need to record it in 46. Alright. Now we wait another 5 minutes. So in progress of carry on our experiment, don't forget measure that our table is tidy and clean. Alright. If our table got water, please don't forget wipe it off. So in the progress, don't forget always focus on our stopwatch so we can catch our time accurately and we can catch our time on time so that we can always record our data in the right time. So make sure that we always observe our thermometer readings. So when we read the thermometer, please make sure your eyes always be at the same level with the mercury and alcohol. Don't put your body like this high and use this side to see it will cause an incorrect of readings or when you read like this. It also a wrong readings position, so the correct reading position is like this, the eyes over perpendicular to the thermometer. now we wet the stopwatch, which is the second hand, turn around the last round to reach our 20 minutes. So now the time is reaches the 15 minutes. So we need to read again our thermometer measurement. So now don't forget your eyes at the same level. Alright, so now we can see that the readings of thermometer becomes to 43 because the level is lower than 44, so we cannot take 44, we just can take 43 degrees Celsius. Alright, so don't forget to record it. So now it reached the 20 minutes. Read the measurement readings. Alright, the thermometer readings. So now we know that the thermometer readings show. Now the thermometer show that the reading is 40 degrees Celsius. Alright, so we need to record it down. So we wait for 5 minutes. Now the time reached 25th minute, so we need to record our temperature. So now the temperature the thermometer show the temperature which is then 38 degrees Celsius. So at the 25th minute our water become 26 degrees Celsius. So let's wait for another 5 minutes. So from the data we can see that the temperature of the water keep decreasing. So let's continuously observe our temperature. Now the time reaches the 30th minute, so we need to record another readings. So this reading show that at the 30th minute the temperature is 36. Alright, no, so from here we cannot take 36 because the mercury level or the alcohol level is below the 36, so we need to take the reading of 35. Alright, so we cannot take more than 36 because the mercury didn't reach this 36, so we need to take the 35. So please don't forget, always take a lowest one. So now we wait for another 5 minutes. We wait for the 35 minutes. So because of stopwatch only show 30 minutes, so if we want to know 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, we need to add on by adding 555 by ourselves. So 30 plus 5 is 35, 35 or 30 plus 10 is 40, so we add on like one by one. We add on 555. Alright, to reach our time. Now the time reached 35, so the reading shown by the thermometer is 34 degrees Celsius. So the result, which is the time passed from 30 to 35, is only decreased 1 degree Celsius. So we wait for another 5 minutes until our result show the constant point of the temperature. When we read our stopwatch, make sure that the second hand always reach until accurately 16 seconds. So we start with our readings of the thermometer. So we need to wait the second hand point to 60 seconds. Alright, it's already point to 60 seconds. Now we read the reading of the thermometer. So now the thermometer show the result of our 40 minutes. So the result from 34th is decreasing to 32 degrees Celsius. Now we wait for another 5 minutes. During this experiment, we cannot go around where, and we cannot go here and go there. So we need to focus on our experiment so that we will not pass our time. So because we need to catch our time on timely. So don't walk away from our experiment places. So we need to focus and stay on our experiment place so that we can get on time to check our temperature. Now the time reached 45 minutes. So we read the reading. So now the temperature show the result is 30 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is still keeping. So the temperature is still decreases. So we need to wait another 5 minutes. So now our time already reached 50 minutes. So we need to read the result. So the result shown by the temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. Now the time is reached 55 minutes. So because of the thermometer show that the level of the mercury or alcohol is lower than the 29. So the mercury or the alcohol inside the thermometer show that it's lower than 29 degrees Celsius of level. So we need to take our readings is at 28. So we cannot take 29, alright, because it did not reach the level line, the scale line of 29. So our result is 28 degrees Celsius. So now we need to wait for another 5 minutes. So now it's going past 16 minutes. So our temperature is still not constant. So we need to wait for another 5 minutes, and so on. So now we already reached the 60 minutes. So we need to read our thermometer reading. So now you can see that our reading is show 27 degrees Celsius. We cannot take 28 because the level did not reach the scale of 28, so we need to write it down as 27 degrees Celsius. Alright. So the result is still keep decreasing. So we need to wait for other 5 minutes. So the stopwatch already passed 2. So the stopwatch, which is the minutes, 30 minutes already passed 2 rounds. So we need to wait for another round because we already passed 1 hour already. So now we are going wait for 5 minutes which is 65 minutes. So because of our environment is in cool aircon room, so the temperature will decrease until it reach a constant point. So let us find out where is the constant point of this water to stabilize with the temperature of room temperature. Our thermometer show the result is 26. We cannot take 27 because same theory as before, which is the mercury haven't reached 27, even it is nearer to 27, but because it doesn't reach the level of 27, so we need to take 26. Alright. So our result still keep decreasing. So now we will still wait for 5 minutes. The thermometer show the result is 26 degrees Celsius. So now we found that time of 65 and time of 70, the temperature is same, which is 26 degrees Celsius. But we get a result that the 65 minutes and 70 minutes has the same temperature, which is 26 degrees Celsius. So, but we cannot stop observe again because we need to make sure that the data, which is happen 3. So we need to make sure that the data show 3 same of temperature, which is 26, so that we can confirm that the temperature already achieved at the constant degree Celsius. But now we only got 2 result of 26 degrees Celsius temperature, so we need to wait another 5 minutes. so we need to wait for 75 minutes. Time, so for this time, so now the time show 75 minutes, so it reached 75 minutes. So now we need to read again our readings of the thermometer. So at the 75 minutes, we show that so at the 75 minutes, we can see that the temperature decreased to 25 degrees Celsius. So our temperature still keep decrease. So it happens constant. So we need to wait for the 5 minutes. The storage already show 80 minutes, so we need to read again our thermometer results. So alright, please don't forget, make sure your eye position is always perpendicular to the level of our thermometer. Alright, so now our results is constant at 25, so we need to wait another 5 minutes so that we can get 3 cents of constant results. If another 5 minutes the result is 25 degrees Celsius, that means our water start to constant at 25 degrees Celsius, so we can stop our stopwatch, then our experiment will finish. So we need to wait for another 5 minutes. So the important to get 3 same results to make sure that the result is totally will not change. So we cannot get 2 same of the result. We need to get 3 same of results. So every experiment we need to get 3. So we need to wait for another 5 minutes because a result needs to be replicated multiple times to be considered valid. So we cannot only simple wait for 2 constant of temperature, such as we got 26 to answer of 2 same of temperature, but it changes in the 75 minutes. So it means that we need to wait for another round 5 minutes to make sure that the result is constant. So why we need to make sure it's 3 times? Because a single experiment could be a fraud or due to chance. So a second replication test, if the first step was a lucky coincidence, and consistency increases confidence. So the third time we will more confidence, we will more confirm that the second and the first result is not lucky, but it's very confirmed. So a third successful replication establishes a predictable pattern. So this significantly reducing the probability that the result is purely accident. Alright. So why we need to observe it 3 times too? It helps ensure that the experiment protocol is sound and not dependent on a single research unit technique. So now it reached 85 minutes already. So our reading is still decreasing to 24. Still decreasing, so we need to wait for another 5 minutes until it's constant, the temperature. So we can see that from here we can see that the temperature is decreased to 24 degrees Celsius. Now the time reached 90 minutes, so we need to read again our thermometer. So the thermometer reading is 24. So we need to record our result. 24. Alright. So we need to wait for another 5 minutes. So now the time reached 95 minutes. So we check our thermometer readings. So the thermometer show the result is 24 degrees Celsius. Alright. So the thermometer show the result, which is 24 degrees Celsius. So now we already get 3 cents of temperature, which is 24. So this experiment is ended here because we already get 3 cents of degrees Celsius temperature, which is 24. So the result show that 24 is our room temperature. When the time is reached, so before we end our experiment, don't forget click our stopwatch to stop our time. Alright. So from my data, so this is my data. So the temperature, so from the data we can see that the temperature decreased gradually over time as heat was transferred from the hot water to the coolest surrounding air, which is our surrounding air is in a complex. Okay. So now we will analyze our result using a bar chart. So now I will demonstrate how to draw a bar chart. So before we end our experiment, don't forget we need to clean up and tidy our table, and we need to keep our things back to its original place. So firstly, we need to handle our thermometer. So let us lose the clamp of the thermometer to make sure that we can pull out the thermometer. Then don't forget to wipe it off the liquid on the thermometer. And next we need to put it in its cover so that we can prevent it from broken or breakage to make it more safety. Now for the beaker. So because our water is already become the room temperature, so our water temperature is already become same with our room temperature. Now we can just take it from the tripod stand because it's not hot. So now we need to pour our water into the sink to make sure that our beaker is always don't have condense any liquid inside it. Then we need to put back our tank, which is this apparatus, to its original place. forget put back our stopwatch into 8 boxes and our Googles and anything that we take. And because later we need to rinse it out. And for the table, don't forget to lap and don't forget to wipe our table because maybe it contains any water on it to prevent the table from slippery. And don't forget our thermometer also need to put back and put at the front surface. Alright, so tidy our table after experiment is important, so make sure that we can prevent for the accident happen, and we can make sure that the safety for everyone. Before we rinse it out the beaker, we need to wash it. So make sure our beaker is away in a clean condition. So if we have cloth, we can use the cloth to wipe it up first after we use it. So now we need to rinse out our beaker, so we need to put it at the rack so it can be dry in air. Alright. So now we will start to construct the bar chart. So first we make sure that we have y-axis and x-axis. Alright. Okay. So this axis is referred to our time. Our time. And this y-axis is referred to our temperature. So now we need to label. Which is we need to take x-axis, which is our time, from our table, which is from 0 until the time we achieve, which is 95. So our last result is at 95 minutes. So now we need to label our temperature. So now we start. So this is my bar chart. So let's analyze our result using now let's analyze our results using a bar chart. So the chart shows that the water cools rapidly at the beginning and then more slowly as time increases. This is because the temperature difference between the hot water and the room air is greater at first, causing a faster rate of releasing of heat. So the cooling rate becomes slowly down until the temperature become constant with stabilized with our room temperature. So we can see there is a we can see the temperature is decreasing. So through this analysis, we apply several scientific process skills, including which first one is observing the physical change in water temperature over the time, and second, measuring the temperature accurately at regular time intervals. Third, we're recording and classifying our data in a table for organization, and followed by we interpreting data through the graph. So from table we interpret our data through the graph, which is chart bar chart, to identify the trends and patterns. So inferring that the rate of cooling depends on the temperature difference between the water and the surroundings. So the last one is communicating result clearly through visual and verbal explanation. So in primary science, nurturing these skills is essential because this will help pupils connect the practical experience with conceptual understanding, transforming our observation into scientific reasoning. So conclusion for our today's experiment, the hypothesis is supported as time increases, the water temperature decreases until it reaches room temperature. So this demonstrates the principle of heat flow. Energy move from a hotter object to a cooler one until thermal equilibrium is achieved. So this activity not only strengthens pupils' understanding of physical science concepts, but also develop essential scientific skills such as careful observation, data interpretation, critical thinking, and ethical handling of materials. So, lastly, this experiment reminded us that clear planning and self-management are not mere procedures, they are essential scientific attitudes that every laboratory user and experimenter must cultivate. So, thank you for listening. That's all from my video. Thank you. Bye.